Good evening. Welcome to the State of Business on our television with me, Tirantha Gunawardana. Let's take a look at today's headlines first. Presidential Task Force on Development of North and East meets under patronage of President. And third meeting of AEPF and ICAP to be held in Sri Lanka. In your top story today, the Presidential Task Force for the Development of the North and East met yesterday afternoon at the parliamentary premises, with the meeting being chaired by the President. Attention was focused on the issues and suggestions presented by political representatives of the areas in the northern and eastern provinces. The President also instructed the governors of the two provinces to intervene in the matter and discuss the issues with the military authorities to expedite solutions. He instructed the relevant officials to submit all future issues beyond their control at future meetings. Leader of the TNA, MP R. Sambandhan, Governor of the Northern Province, Dr. Suren Raghavan, Governor of the Eastern Province, MLA M. Hisbullah, Secretary to the President, Udaya R. Senivaratna, and state officials, high-ranking military personnel, and the IGP were also present at this meeting. Sri Lanka will be hosting the third meeting of the Asia-Europe Political Forum and the International Conference of Asian Political Parties in Colombo from the 5th to the 7th of April 2019. Approximately 90 participants representing political parties in Asia and Europe are expected to be in attendance at this international conference. Launched in Manila, Philippines in September of 2000, ICAP is a forum of political parties of Asia-Oceania countries. Considering the positive contribution made by Sri Lanka towards the progress of ICAP in the past, the ICAP Secretariat invited the government of Sri Lanka to host the third meeting of Asia-Europe Political Forum in Colombo from the 5th to the 7th of April. Park Robew, Secretary General of ICAP, visited Sri Lanka on the 22nd of March 2019 and met the President, the Prime Minister, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the Minister of Primary Industries and Social Empowerment and senior officials of respective ministries. Subsequent to these deliberations, the government of Sri Lanka consented to host the AVPF in Colombo in April 2019. The first ever Presidential Media Awards ceremony will be held on the 10th of April this year in Colombo to honor personnel who have made significant contributions to mass media in Sri Lanka. Speaking exclusively to our television, Professor Emeritus of the Department of Mass Communication of the University of Kelaniya, Sunanda Mahendra, elaborated upon the reasons behind organizing the awards ceremony.
First of all, at the outset, I must say that the Ministry of Mass Media should be congratulated on this matter. It was they who decided that we should have a presidential award ceremony for mass media. I am pretty certain about the wonderful, fantastic objectives behind it. One of the things that I remember very well is the identification of the communication skills that lay behind most of the mass media channels in Sri Lanka. Having identified the skills, we ought to thank them for surviving and sustaining the effort of carrying them down the century.
Professor Mahendra also elaborated the following on the 4 Lifetime Achievement Awards that will be presented at the ceremony.
We took into consideration the number of years a particular person had served in that particular medium. For instance, print media, newspaper. In the capacity of a feature writer, feature editor, supervisor, teacher. If you take into consideration, you will find there are 1 or 2 outstanding personalities in each field. I wish I should come out with this fact. When 3 or 4 names came into our consideration, we had to decide by certain factors. What have they done? Were they just hibernating in the office? Or were they performing a particular duty by themselves? And what is that particular duty that they perform?
Sri Lankan Airlines has formulated a new 5-year strategic business plan for the period 2019 to 2024 with the objective of transforming itself into a financially viable organization, airline group with high brand visibility and a global reputation for excellence. The strategic business plan, which was crafted entirely by the management of the airline under the guidance of the Chief Executive Officer of the national carrier and the board, recognizes the enormous contribution of the national carrier to the GDP of Sri Lanka in many different areas, including export, import and leisure, and envisages a corresponding increased contribution to the nation's economy as the airline grows. The strategic business plan has taken into consideration the varied impact of a wide range of market forces that affect the global air transport industry and in particular the region's industry, including competitors, customers, suppliers, and major costs such as fuel and currency fluctuation. The business plan also calls for the strengthening of the route network through code share partnerships and alliances, especially by optimizing opportunities with One World member alliances. The airline would continue to be a catalyst for development of Sri Lanka's tourism industry by aligning its network with the country's tourism strategy and carrying out joint marketing efforts with Sri Lanka Tourism. It's time for us to go in for a short commercial break. More news on the other side of this. Welcome back. In an exclusive interview with Art Television, Dilip De Silva, the chairman of the Sri Lanka Institute of Tourism and Hotel Management, expressed the following regarding future expansion.
Our target was last year we reached 7,000 students. We train at different professions, from craft courses to apprenticeships to management. This year we have put the target to 10,000. So basically we have increased by another 3,000. So this is not that easy because we are restricted with our premises, but now we are actually running back-to-back classes in Colombo and Kandy. The lecturers are actually doing morning sessions and afternoon sessions, so we can take more students. But again, by next year, this is not enough. The demand will be for another 5,000 more to be added to the industry, because the industry needs at any given time about 15,000 trained people. So out of that, if you can even do 1/3, and then the other private organizations actually can look after the balance.
Dilip De Silva also stressed upon the importance of English as a language for the hospitality industry and steps taken by Slitham to educate its students in English.
We want to emphasize the English, as a main, subject. But during the lectures, when the lecturers actually find out, the capacity of the students, then of course they use both languages with that, yeah. And particularly like in Jaffna and Pasikuda, of course, we use Tamil language with using Tamil instructors as well. This is very challenging because at some courses we take students who are without even O levels, like for apprenticeship program and craft course. So we have to actually build their language skills as well. So English is part and parcel of our curriculum, which is a core subject. And then when they come up to intermediate level, diploma level, they learn other foreign languages as well.
De Silva also added that the institute hopes to attract students from the region once the institute has expanded its facilities sufficiently so that no local student will lose his or her spot in class.
In the future, we have that idea, especially in the closer areas, even from Maldives. But again, our restriction is if we take from overseas, we are depriving a place for a local student. So if we have the capacity to increase our offerings, definitely we will be looking at that, because Sri Lanka, our institute, has a good reputation among the neighboring countries as well.
In more developments, the 18th meeting of the Conference of Parties to the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, commonly referred to as CITES, will be held from the 23rd of May to the 3rd of June at the BMICH in Colombo. CITES is a multilateral treaty to protect endangered plants and animals drafted as a result of a resolution adopted in 1963 during a meeting amongst members of the International Union for Conservation of Nature. With over 3,000 foreign delegates and media personnel from 183 countries expected to take part in the largest UN conference to have been hosted in Sri Lanka, the signatories to CITES conventions are collectively referred to as the Conference of Parties. According to Conservation International, Sri Lanka is one of 34 biodiversity hotspots in the world, with a large proportion of endemic species and a high dependence on its biodiversity for tourism and other social and economic activities. Sri Lanka acceded to the CITES Convention on the 4th of May of 1979. Stocks ended in the green once again. More on that after this short commercial break. Welcome back. Trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The All Share Price Index gained 56.06 points to close at 5,653.43 points, and the S&P SL 20 gained 19.49 points to close at 2,757.06. Turnover was 563.5 million rupees and 50 million shares were traded. Up next are today's forex rates. And that's all the news we have for you today. Do join us tomorrow at the same time for more of the very latest. Until then, take care. Good night.